Hello there, Meoni back with another Archeage video on the Cast for you. This is my second video here actually, my first being my musical introduction to Archeage, which I called Archeage is Beautiful, named so after the Terror is Beautiful music video a friend of mine, Hybrid Panda, made, which is still to this day one of my favourite videos on YouTube, so a big shout out to him. But I'm here today to kickstart some basic guides for you all really, this first one being on how to build a boat. Sounds basic enough, but my hope is that with brief and informative guides you can approach the live servers with all the knowledge you need to make your experience much smoother than it is actually going in blind. So here I am in this adventurer's clipper with my friend Megadeth here on the channel. This is my basic level crafted boat, but this is actually the second one you actually get in the game. The first boat you get is a rowboat, which you acquire in the early level 20s from a quest for free. However, that's kind of where the freebies end and the long crafting begins, but don't feel too disheartened. So firstly, I have to say for casual play and leveling, you'd be better waiting until you reach about level 30 in-game before you begin crafting ships and houses and things. The reason behind this is to acquire the actual plan to build a clipper and a house, you will require Gilder Stars. Now these Gilder Stars are awarded through quest completion and are used to purchase everything from costumes to boat plans, housing plans, schematics for vehicles such as cars, tanks, that's right, tanks, etc. The list goes on and on and on and on and then on a few more times. If you wait till you're about level 30, you will actually have enough in your possession, hopefully, if I've done it right here, if I've estimated this, it worked in practice. If you do all of your quests, all the way up until level 30, you will have enough in your possession, enough Gilder Stars for both a clipper, a basic clipper like mine, and a basic house. So there you go. If you stick to the rules, you do your quests, you get to 30, you should have enough. Fingers crossed. If you don't, you've probably missed something, but don't be too disheartened, you'll get there eventually, and you'll have enough for one or the other, not both. But if you do wait till level 30, you do all your quests, you should have enough for both a house and a boat. There. So, you have enough Gilder Stars, okay? So say for instance you have enough Gilder Stars, what's next? Well, firstly, we get our blueprint for the actual ship we want to build. And to do this, like any other crafting plan, we need to go to a place called Mirage Island, which is kind of like, imagine a shopping district island, if you will, that you can access from nearly every major city or town via a world gate. Now, world gates can be toggled on and off, along with many other options for visibility of various merchants, etc. in the map legend. So you open your map and it's on the bottom right, there'll be various things you can filter through. So this will help you find your nearest world gate. They're like big blue and red gates, basically. That's what you're looking for. Once you are on Mirage Island, you have a choice of east or west. Now, the western section of the island caters to designs specific for western races, such as the Nuian and Elven races, and the east specifically caters to oriental designs for the Haranian and Firan races. It does not matter which side you choose here, as you are not restricted to the type of design you can use by your specific race. So, if I am a Nuian and I want to use a Haranian clipper, I can. Or if I'm an Etherean cat lady like I am right now and want to live in a human thatched cottage, why I would want to do that I don't know, I could also do that. So that's pretty damn cool. So pick whichever side you want to go, and you want to head to the docks of either direction of the island. And when you're here, we need to get some plans. So here on the docks, you can actually browse various different boats. There's like a small model of the boat, and then sometimes there's boats behind them unless they're being used that you can try out. And you can test, you can try before you buy, but browse at your leisure various designs of different vessels, but they all, of course, vary in Gilder Star cost. These prices are recorded on the second beta test here, and as such are obviously subject to change. I have to say that because some people will go, oh, it's not actually 50 Meoni, it's 150. Well, subject to change. However, they shouldn't actually change too radically from this release, if at all really, they're fairly balanced. merchant vessels, galleons, fishing ships, all of which are endgame goals for your character, pretty much, but for now we need to get the Clipper design, which is the basic ship design, which costs 50 Gilder Stars. As I say, if you're around the level 30s, you should have enough of this and a house. If you're lower than that, you can probably afford the vessel in the mid-20s, no problem. Just, you won't be able to get a house or anything like that. Don't worry, you'll get lots later on in the game, trust me. Simply throw these coins at the vendor and you have yourself a dry dock design. So how shipbuilding works in Archeage is very similar to reality, in that we need to build it on a land-based structure in order to build the actual the frame of the ship, and then launch the finished vessel into the ocean, much like real life. The full cost of building a clipper is 50 Gilder Stars, 110 lumber, 110 iron ingots, and 100 fabric. The build will also require 10 gold pieces to actually place the dock and finish it off. The ship will need 1 lumber pack, which you get from the 100 lumber I talked about, which is crafted from logs at a carpentry station. You'll need 1 iron pack, which is made from the 100 iron ingots, which are smelted from iron ore. And then you'll also need 1 fabric pack, which is made from those 100 fabric, which you can loom from cotton or other plantation things that make into fabric. For this reason alone, it's usually a good idea to have a farm in place to gather the required cotton to make the fabric. That's really where you'll have the biggest trouble. Obviously you'll need enough logs for the lumber, and obviously ore mined. For this other reason, you need to mine and chop down pretty much any trees and mine any mining nodes you see on the way towards level 30. It's in your best interest. Skipping them, you're just wasting time. All of it accounts to something in this game. Every single little thing, every little herb, every little weed, they all have a purpose, a greater purpose, and it's worth clicking on everything. So if you're a kleptomaniac, no problems, but make sure you pick up everything you see. So, the more you do early on, the less you have to do later, and the more enjoyment you can have with driving around massive boats. Bear in mind, to actually place the dock itself to start building, you will need the extra 10 lumber and 10 iron ingots that I listed previously in that 100 totals of the other stuff you needed to make those packs. You'll actually need that to place the dock, so get those first. So the thing you need to do now is you need to find a place to set down your dry dock. Simply done by right-clicking on the plan for the clipper in your inventory. Then you get like a big dry dock thing that'll be red, and you'll need to select a place near the ocean. Bear in mind, you can actually build a dry dock in nearly any body of water. Don't worry about where it is. If it's closed off from the sea, don't worry, you basically pick up the boat later. So you can build it in anywhere you want that has water. A big lake, or the sea, or like here. So if you want to find a secluded river you like, feel free to set it down there. A tip here is that when you place down the dock, if it shows red, which obviously means you can't place it, and you can't understand why, like I had before, you want to press left click to set it down, so to speak, so it's locked but it's still red. Then you actually use the mouse scroll wheel to rotate the dock around. Half the time when you place the dock, it's not set in the right place, so essentially it won't let you put it there because it would be launching into land. And there's an animation when you finally build your ship where when you launch the boat, it has to be in open water. So keep rotating that around with the scroll wheel, and it should be a physical thing you can place down there. So once that's done, when it's not glowing red, you'll be able to click left mouse button again, and bam, your dock is placed. So another massive tip here is to do some recon of the area you place down the dock before you commit to its placement. This section here in Lutzong Harbour, for example, on the eastern continent of Harania, is absolutely fantastic. Nice, out of the way, and it's actually next to a smeltery, carpentry and loom crafting tables, of which obviously we'll need to create the packs, so it'll be a very short distance. Think ahead, you're going to be using these packs. You don't want to be building in a PvP area if you don't want to get your stuff stolen. You want it to be fast, you want it to be precise, and you want it to be as simple as possible, because the materials take a long time to get. You don't want to risk losing them. Okay, so the first stage of building a ship is the actual lumber pack itself. So you craft this with 100 lumber, you craft this at a carpentry station, such as one in Lutzong Harbour here, and then you carry it over to the ship. The same goes for the iron pack being next, and then finally the fabric pack. Once all 3 packs have been added to the ship by moving to it and pressing F, waiting for the little cast bar to finish, you need to climb atop the dry dock and use labour to finish the ship. All in all, I think it takes 10 labour per stage building, don't quote me on that. Again, don't quote me on this, 2 or 3 stages of building, I wasn't paying attention, I was too eager to get my boat. That shouldn't be an issue though, it's only like 30-40 labour anyway. If you're a patron, no problem, and if you're not, well, you should still have about 40 labour. If you've got any left from chopping down all the trees you need. You simply press F and watch as the stages of building complete. So you go through each stage and you watch it as it builds up, you get the red paint, etc. Once it's finished, however, you won't be able to build anymore, there'll be no F key to press. It'll look like an actual boat on this piece of wood. So what you need to do now is you climb aboard your ship from the rear here, and then you press F on the helmsman's wheel, and cue the fireworks and awesomeness, you have your very own clipper. Whoopie whoop. Now this ship, dependent on which faction you chose, east or west, will have a slightly different layout and set of armaments. The western vessels have a forward mounted harpoon on these clippers, which is extremely powerful at the moment in beta. This, however, is the Iranian clipper I'm using here, and it doesn't actually have a mounted harpoon on the front, but it has a portable one you can actually equip, and it also has a side mounted cannon. Warning though, you will need to actually craft cannonballs for it, which cost an absolute shit ton of mats, many of which you will not have or even have access to at level 30. So this is something you want to think about when you're crafting it, as well as the looks as well, the functionality of what you're using it for. A lot of pirate vessels go for the harpoon in a moment on the beta because you can lock onto another vessel, reel it in, and then go aboard and kill the people. That's pretty much what it's used for. Whereas a cannon, if it had cannonballs, would be incredibly destructive, but they're a hell of a lot of money to make, especially through the auction house. That's the only thing you would be able to do, really. You'd have to find the mats, and it'd cost you quite a bit of money, let's put it that way. Whereas the harpoon is limitless and doesn't cost you a damn thing extra. So you have your ship, you have your pride now, you've finished pretty much. So now all that's needed is some representation, a little bit of individuality. So i.e. a flag of your own to sail. So to do this, you will need to get a Crest Brainstorm, which looks like a little purple pot, a little potion. I have absolutely no idea how you make one in the actual game. I had a look around, no idea. But you can, I am assured you can do this in the actual game at live. You can create it with materials, but for now the only way I know of is to actually get it through the marketplace, which of course uses real money or crystals, which you convert Apex crystals from gold. So this is possible to do in the game without paying for it, but if you have crystals from being a patron and a founder, you will be able to get one of these. Of course, there would be no point in me listing the pricing on a store, as many of the prices that XL Games, the Korean developer, put into the store will obviously not be final in the Western, EU and NA release versions, with many of the pricing set to be actually reduced and tuned more appropriately for our region's pricing, because at the moment it's a little bit steep. Once you have that brainstorm though, you need to go into your documents folder on your actual computer, then find Archeage. Inside this folder you will find several other folders, but one of which is called UCC, in full caps there, UCC, which stands for User Created Content. Inside here you will find an empty folder, probably, where you will face a PNG file of your choice. Obviously it has to be a PNG file because of the transparency. This file needs to be 256 by 256 pixels in dimensions, so typical avatar size. Any larger and obviously it won't work, so choose your artwork wisely, and obviously compression values, because you're not going to have something too detailed on it. Bear in mind also that Tryon will have a strict copyright rule set for when the game is actually live. As of now, in the beta, that is not enforced, so you see a lot of crazy designs on things that people won't be able to have, really, in the final game. I use Miku as a sail, which shouldn't be too much of an issue as this is a fan-made image. However, if I use the car logo or any other commercially made art that obviously I don't own the rights to. They could, by rights, take action to remove it, or use disciplinary action in the final game if they chose to. So set as a warning, really. So once you have your image, put it in your UCC folder and rename the actual file, the image file, to UCC in caps, so the same as the folder, but obviously inside the folder. This lets the game know that this is the crest, and will actually display it in game. To make the crest ink, which you apply to sails, cloaks, banners and flags in the game, we need to actually go to a Crest Workstation, which can again be tracked in the map legend if you have a tough time finding one. This one here in Lutzong Harbour is in the commercial district if you want to use this one, and simply uses the Crest Brainstorm to make crest ink. It uses it, obviously it consumes it on use, which you can then use on your items. Bear in mind here that the background you choose, if you choose to have one, will only apply to cloaks and other minor things like that, whereas the actual image will be on all the things you apply it to. For example, if I chose a blue background here and applied it to my cloak, the cloak will be blue with Miku in the middle on the back of it. If I applied the same ink with that blue background to the ship's sail, the sail would not show the blue background, only the 256 by 256 transparent image on the actual sail. So, don't be afraid to customize your cloak. When I first did this, I didn't read it properly and chose no background. Consequently, my cloak looked like a pile of crap, a horrible brown burlap sack thing on my back with Miku in the middle, whereas it could have been whatever coloured I want, say for instance sea blue. The crest ink does actually last for an unlimited time as far as I know, and has no limit to its charges, so you can apply it to what you want and store it in the bank no problem. However, if you want to create another crest, you will need to get another Crest Brainstorm, as that is consumed on creating the crest ink. So, to apply it to an actual sail of a ship or any other item, you want to click on the ink, right mouse button in your inventory, then click on the item you want your crest applied to. Bam! Your sail is now Miku. Bam! Your cloak is now Miku. Bam! Everything is now Miku. So there we have it. How to make a boat and how to make it your own. There are obviously many clippers like this one, but this one is mine. And Miku's, obviously. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.